this entire school is just prom fever. It's all anybody can talk about.
Prom queen.
Are you asking me to prom?
Go to prom with me, Kaylee.
Prom?
Prom. So many girls and boys, but girls in particular, literally spend a lot of their time thinking about what they're gonna wear for prom, being excited about prom, and you're thinking about what you're gonna wear. It's kind of like, I wouldn't want to say ingrained, but culturally, prom holds a lot of weight. And I definitely think that we can see that more so now, especially in the social media age, at the height and the peak of the social media age. Prom is a big deal, and you don't want to mess up your look, you don't want to mess up your dress, you don't want to mess up what you're wearing. Today, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about the evolution of prom, how it started and where we are now. Let's get into it. The high school prom has been a sacred American tradition for decades, hosted by schools across the United States in celebration of high schoolers finishing their time in formal education. Characterized as a night of teenage fun, freedom, and romance, with over time the event morphing into a cultural frenzy. The perfect hair, nails, makeup, shoes, and most importantly the dress, are the epitome of making sure your prom is perfect. But how did we get to where we are today? Where did the prom come from? Let's take a trip back in time.
It all starts with knowing whether you're going or not.
The contemporary prom that we know and love today has its roots in debutante balls. These were glamorous events served as coming-of-age ceremonies for young women from wealthy families. A young girl who participated in one meant she was ready to be introduced to society and meet her future husband. Of course, during this time, dating was largely unheard of and didn't exist, so attending a debutante ball gave young women the opportunity to merge into high society and meet potential bachelors. These fancy balls then evolved to the promenade, which I still can't pronounce. This was essentially a walk for university and college students to be seen by others, reserved for those only in the graduating class, and was used to promote social and etiquette skills to other students. These promenades, aka proms, then transitioned to high schools. By the 1920s, the prom became a much more casual and inclusive event for teenage boys and girls on the brink of graduation. And by the 30s, it was custom for high school seniors to attend a prom. These events were much less about wealth and privilege and more about a community. They were supervised by teachers and parents, but notably still maintained the romance factor, as it became customary to attend with a date. With the 1950s came the notion of the teenage years. The word teenager was coined to define the period between adolescence and adulthood, which cultivated the concept of youth culture. With the explosion of consumer spending in the USA at the time, after the Great Depression, the era of fun truly began. Families had a lot more spending power, which made teenagers a growing target demographic for marketers. And now, within an American culture that thought of business in terms of national identity and individual freedom, the fact that youth had become a market also meant that it had become a discrete, separate age group with its own peer-generated rituals, rights, and demands. This gave rise to a new surge in brands catering towards the prom. One in particular was Nadine Formals, which appeared a lot in my research. A clothing brand established in 1954, which made prom and formal dresses for young women. What's up, editing Julia here. I was researching Nadine Formals. I could barely find any information on the brand, and I have no clue why, because when I searched 1950s prom dresses, Nadine Formals came up like a lot. I think they were catalogs or magazines, but I couldn't even find any traces online of like pictures of the company, of whether if it was in stores or not. So there was a lack of information there, but I tried my best. On with the video. Mentions of the prom appeared more in many magazines, which likely reflected the growing teen market at the time.
The families, the white families would say this is tradition, this is the way we always had it.
One thing that I didn't know about the history of prom, it had a lot of discriminatory lines, like many things that have happened and evolved over time. A lot of racism unfortunately took place. Proms in the 1950s were originally segregated, obviously due to segregation in many North American states during this time. 1954, after the Brown versus Board of Education's decision to desegregate schools, many people still had their reserved opinions about this and felt that they did not want to integrate with other races. Despite the decision by the US Supreme Court in 1954 to desegregate schools, some integrated schools still held segregated proms. It wasn't until the 1970s when African American students were allowed to attend prom alongside white students. However, ongoing racial tensions perpetuated the segregation, resulting in parents of white students organizing exclusive parties for their children. In response, African American parents did the same for their kids. You with me? Okay. However, by the 1960s, the civil rights movement took center stage, with many young people advocating for social change. And as years passed and societal views evolved, more and more high schools began holding integrated proms, welcoming students of all colors and cultural backgrounds. Although anomalies still persisted, such as the notorious case of a high school in Mississippi that didn't hold an integrated prom up until 2009, after great intervention by actor Morgan Freeman, who was shocked a high school in his hometown still maintained the system of separate proms.
I'm offering them the opportunity to do it, to break this log jam of social inaction that prevails among young people in this town, in this little bitty burg.
Filming the whole process in a documentary titled Prom Night in Mississippi. From the 1980s going into the 90s and onwards, much of the Western world saw a surge in prom portrayals in the media.
It's the night of the senior prom.
Some of the earlier depictions include the 1976 classic horror film Carrie.
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
I have a date to the prom next Friday. Would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
Here are a few more honorable mentions in the Prom Film Hall of Fame.
Oh, this Danny and Sandy? Oh, yeah.
There's a special night in the lives of all of us. A night to be beautiful, to be desirable. A night we can break all the rules and make our own. Prom night.
You told me you couldn't believe in somebody who didn't believe in you. I've always believed in you. I just didn't believe in me.
You still want to dance with the wolf?
This here is
Billy Prince is asking you to the prom.
Why?
I don't know.
The poem. I knew he'd like the poem. Billy Prince is asking me to the prom. Let me tell you something. I don't care about being your stupid prom queen.
These 90s films glamorized the prom experience, making it something that needed to be held and celebrated and upheld in our culture. It helped commercialize prom and push it into the mainstream atmosphere globally, establishing it not just as an American tradition, but a worldwide Western rite of passage that deserved to become a staple in schools not just in the US but all over the world. The teenage fantasy was then sealed by the millions of viewers who watched those films growing up throughout their teenage years, passing it to each new generation, with many TV shows and many films following throughout the millennium up until today, copying the same formula, knowing that the prom, formal, or any other high school cookie cutter plot worked, and that young people ate that right up. That was like what planted it in my head that I was gonna have this glamorous high school experience of going to this ball and having a date, just having the time of my life. Yeah. And then we move on to the numerous Disney tropes of prom across the whole of the Disney Channel itself. I'm pretty sure every single TV show that they made had an episode dedicated to prom, as well as many other teen shows. On the back of the release of the final adaptation of High School Musical 3 Senior Year, showed us as a culture how the significance of the teenage years as a time in our lives had really grown to be an important spectacle, both in pop culture and in our real lives too. The film itself focuses on the transitional period of going from high school to becoming adults, showing the trials and tribulations that the characters faced in choosing colleges, navigating romantic feelings, and overall finding themselves as individuals, which many of the audience at the time and over time, and even now across generations, still relate to. And of course, met with the song and dance in classic 70s Grease formula, captivated many globally, with the film's theatre debut raking in $90 million worldwide in its first 3 days of release, setting the record for the largest opening weekend for a musical film worldwide. Overall, the film made $252 million globally, and compared to the original $11 million budget, it's safe to say the film did pretty well.
High School Musical 3 Senior Year continues.
And as you all know, prom night is one of the biggest nights of senior year.
Getting ready for the night of nights, the night of nights.
All right. You have to find the right dress, hairstyle, do your makeup, a date. It's a lot of work for a girl.
And a lot of stress for a guy. Don't panic.
What you're wearing, how you're doing your nails, how you're doing your hair, who you're going with.
Jordan and Yasmin are going prom together. I'm gonna go home, punch a few walls, and I'll come back and tell you how I'm feeling.
Wait.
So how the hell did American prom end up in the UK? Let's talk about it. So prom in the UK typically happens age 16 after you've finished doing your big examinations, which are GCSEs here in the UK. They usually happen at the end of year 11, which year 11 in America I think is 10th grade, I believe. Yeah, 10th grade, because now I have to run through the whole education system. Oh Lord. Let me just keep it short and simple. Just know that prom happens at 16, okay? Typically. According to borngifted.co.uk, prior to the millennium, so year 2000, schools typically held a school disco or a leavers party at the end of year 11. So think like early 2000s, disco, hall, dark room, the Macarena, yeah. And apparently now, according to the Telegraph, almost 85% of schools in the UK hold a prom, with the article also noting that it can serve as an incentive for students to behave if they want to go to the prom. In these pics, we can see what prom looked like years ago, before the social media boom, some of these throwbacks, which I found that routinely local publications like to post, showing what prom looked like years ago around prom season in their hometowns. Prom has changed. I am going to argue that it has changed. I definitely think that there's been a shift, and the shift is obviously because of social media.
Pleased to say that she has found an amazing prom dress for prom 2023.
She's part of it, she's got it.
The proms that I have been seeing this year are crazy. Like, I've been seeing some people go all out, and I'm gonna be honest, I like it. Like, I like people going all out and celebrating, and if you have the means to do so, then why not? Make it an occasion that you're gonna remember. But this has given a window for it to become such a money-making machine, and I do understand parents who probably struggle to be able to like afford all of these fancy expensive dresses on the market, transportation. Even in the US, I couldn't even imagine, because some of the prom looks that I saw this year, damn. It was really giving Met Gala, like.
They sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they watching, they watching, they watching, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they.
It was giving, we are going to the MTV Music Awards. Like, some people really put it out and made it known that they did not come to play. And it doesn't stop there, because I recently saw this year, this is moving younger and younger. Like, primary school aged children are now having like proper prom style leavers parties. I just got a simple disco. So where are we heading next in the future? I'm not psychic, I don't know the future, I'm not Raven, but where I see prom going, I definitely see prom here in the UK specifically moving more in an American style, like mirroring what they're doing in the US. But I feel like that's just how things are moving generally. The whole event of a prom originated from there, so I wouldn't be surprised if the stature of it, the weight that it holds, and the importance of it increases over time, especially again with the rise of social media. Yes, I know how annoying it is to constantly hear, but it's fact. When something is seen online, people want to emulate it, people want to join in, people want to mimic it. To summarize it easily, the crazier it gets over there, I think the crazier it's gonna get over here.
Look, she got the balloon arch with her name. Like, this is not happening in my household. I'm sorry.
They don't really have like promposals. I have never seen a English promposal. Insert clip if I manage to find one whilst I'm editing. Of course, I stand corrected. Oh my god, this is so cute. But I've never seen that, so maybe that will rise more. The dresses will rise more, the transportation will rise more, the everything. The more Instagrammable it is, the better. Overall, what are my opinions on prom? Love prom. I dreamed about having a prom, and I went to some sort of kind of post-COVID kind of formal celebration thing, and I loved it and it was fun.
I had a good prom. You had a good prom?
Mm-hmm. I love prom, like I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't like it. I love it. The only bad thing or con I would say is how expensive it can be. Of course, with consumerism comes a lot of problems that I'm not really ready to get into, because I just finished filming a very, very long video. Maybe I'll get into it next time. If you want a part 2, comment down below if you want a part 2. I absolutely love prom. I think it's fun. I think it's a great event, and I think it's great that young people can have a creative outlet. And I think that sometimes older generations tend to speak down on things if they feel like things are moving too fast, or like I've seen a lot of comments online of people's prom dresses this year, and older people in the comments being like, it's too much, people are doing too much, like back in my day, la la la. Like, I completely get it, but at the same time, let people have fun. Like, if they have the means to do so, then let them do that. Prom is an event to have fun, and after you've worked hard, as long as you work hard, as long as you get your good grades, as long as you got your future in check, have as much fun as you want. High school and secondary school, and just generally the process of getting qualifications and going through education is a really tough time, especially for a lot of different people. People go through a lot during their school years, and I definitely think that they deserve to have a fun way to celebrate. If prom isn't really your thing, well, I'm sure maybe someone will create something new. I don't know. Someone will create a new event, a new something for people to celebrate. In the social media world, anything is possible. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this very random, all over the place video on a topic that has been playing on my mind a little bit, because it's prom season, like at least post-prom season. We're in July now. Wow, July. And this year's going quickly. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of social media looks, and I just thought it'd be fun to go back in the archives and yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Toodles.
prom was great.
It sure was. I had a wonderful time.
I had a great time, too. I think it was because of you.